A netizen shared that according to Fox News host Tucker Carlson, Bank of America handed over customer data to the FBI agents following the Capitol riot. According to exclusive evidence obtained by him, Bank of America, which is the second largest bank in the country with more than 60 million customers, has been actively but secretly engaged in the hunt for extremists in cooperation with the government. So essentially, BOA is, without knowledge or the consent of its customers, sharing private information with the federal law enforcement agencies. According to media reports, at the request of federal investigators, Bank of America searched its own databases looking for individuals who fit a specific profile. And that profile was, number 1, customers confirmed as transacting either through bank account debit card or credit card purchase in Washington, D.C. between January 5th and January 6th. Number 2, purchases made for hotel reservations in D.C., Virginia, and Maryland after January 6th. Number 3, any purchase of weapons or at a weapons-related merchant between January 7th and their upcoming suspected stay in D.C. area around the inauguration day. Number 4, airline-related purchases since January 6th. According to a statement released by Bank of America after being approached by Carlson, it noted, quote, "We don't comment on our communications with law enforcement. All banks have responsibilities under federal law to cooperate with law enforcement inquiries in full compliance with the law." So essentially, BOA is not at all denying that it has done so, and at the same time is trying to imply the message that the bank had no choice but to share the information when being approached by the federal investigators, even though that is not at all true. A netizen shared a few pictures of the snowstorms that's been seen all around the world lately. A netizen mocked, "Do these really reflect global warming?" A netizen shared that according to Sky News, in Germany, millions of solar panels are blanketed in snow and 30,000 wind turbines are sitting idle because there is no wind. A netizen shared that snowstorms have attacked the entire country, even including Texas. Flights have been cancelled, but at this particular time, Biden still decided to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement to further combat global warming. This contradiction between reality and what he is doing is so similar to what was depicted in the novel 1984. Just as the famous quote said, "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength." A netizen shared that according to a new poll, nearly 2/3 of Americans say that the US needs a third major political party because the GOP and the Democratic Party do such a poor job representing the American people. In the survey released on Monday, 62% of Americans said the third party was needed, while only 33% said that two existing major parties do an adequate job representing the majority of Americans' political views. This is the largest percentage of people to say the US needs a third party ever since this question was first asked in 2003. The netizen that shared this said that, "I absolutely support this as well. Many years ago, some people in Taiwan told me the same. I hope that this time, this dream will come true in America." A netizen shared that a friend living in Fort Worth was afraid of going out to buy bottled water, so she decided to boil snow to drink. A netizen replied, "A friend of mine told me that her house has lost power for 30 plus hours. When they went out, they saw that there was a huge line, even in front of stores selling fast food. So it's clear how many people have lost electricity at home and weren't able to cook." A netizen replied, "So being self-sufficient is really important, as what has happened this time is not going to be the last." A netizen shared this video clip from Tucker Carlson's show regarding the winter storm in Texas.
The bad news is they don't have electricity. The windmills froze, so the power grid failed. Millions of Texans woke up to boil their water because with no electricity.
A netizen shared this tweet saying that 13 million cattle in Texas and none of their farts warmed us up. A netizen shared this quote from this recently elected conservative representative. She said, "Rolling blackouts from North Dakota to Texas have turned into lengthy power outages in freezing conditions. Biden needs to lift his oil and gas ban as we need reliable energy sources. The Green New Deal was just proven unsustainable as renewables are clearly unreliable." A netizen shared this picture, also mocking the irony of campaigns meant to combat climate change. A netizen shared this article from the Associated Press, published back in June of 1989. It highlighted a senior UN environmental official says that entire nations could be wiped off the face of the earth by rising sea levels if the global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000. A netizen shared this picture called government-funded science. It said that in the 1960s, the government claimed that oil reserves will be depleted in 10 years. In the 1970s, another ice age in 10 years. In the 1980s, they claimed that acid rain will destroy all crops in 10 years. In the 1990s, they again claimed that the ozone layer will be destroyed in 10 years. In the 2000s, they said that the ice caps will be gone in 10 years. But the reality is that none of these catastrophes happened, but all resulted in more taxes and regulations. A netizen shared that according to the documentary The Great Global Warming Swindle, the main cause of climate change is not human activity but changes in radiation from the sun. According to the program, humans do have an effect on climate, but it's infinitesimally small compared with the vast natural forces which are constantly pushing global temperatures this way and that. According to the documentary, global warming has become a story of huge political significance. Environmental activists using scare tactics to further their cause, scientists adding credence to secure billions of dollars in research money, politicians after headlines and a media happy to pay along. No one dares speak against it for risk of being unpopular, losing funds and jeopardizing careers. A netizen shared a series of articles published by the Epoch Times called How the Spectre of Communism is Ruling Our World. One of the chapters mentioned the communist force behind the environmental movement, which mentioned that the agenda behind this movement is to build a world government. A netizen replied, "The greatest threat faced by mankind is greed. Industrialization did not bring about progress, immorality, and spiritual refinement. Many people have gave up their faith in the divine, begun to place their complete trust in science." A netizen shared that recently a 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck off the northeast coast of Japan, causing serious damage. It can also be felt near Tokyo. A netizen replied, "This again proves how important it is to make sure that we are prepared for emergency situations like this, while in the meantime, equip ourselves with knowledge about them." A netizen shared this video clip showing what van life may look like and how it may potentially help prepare for such emergencies.
Take you in, child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring, soon a dove flying high.